I'm wearing a sweater because it's cold outside. If it's cold outside, that means it's cuffing season. And one of our fallen brothers on the front line was defeated today by his need to acquire somebody for cuffing season. And that is what we're here to talk about. That brother is the Peepo right behind you. Now, some of you have been saying that my stuffed Peepo back there is scary and looks menacing, sitting in the background surrounded by green lights instead of blue. Well, if that's true, just know that his unblinking gaze will be locking eyes with you for the next, I don't know, however many minutes this takes. But if you can manage to not get distracted by him, I do have one of the funniest things I've ever seen for you, because this guy, his name is Emirhan Delibaş. And Emirhan Delibaş is a Turkish footballer. I say footballer instead of soccer player because footballer is a shorter word, and I love brevity. And chocolate. I ate a lot more chocolate today, even though I'm out of turtles. But Emirhan Delibaş was a player at Beşiktaş. You see, he just had his contract terminated. So you might be wondering, what on earth could have possibly led to this strapping young lad? 2 appearances for the Turkish U19s, an appearance for Beşiktaş this season on loan last year to the 2nd division of the Turkish leagues. What could possibly have gotten this guy's contract terminated in the middle of February, right? Well, good old-fashioned internet desperation, but not in the bad, weird way. In the normal, socially acceptable way, at least in my age group, in the culture that I grew up in, a perfectly normal and acceptable thing to do, that just happened to have caught Beşiktaş, perhaps, in the wrong mood. You see, my boy Emirhan Delibaş here, he had a Bumble account. Now, he had a Bumble account, and it happened to get posted on Twitter, the artist formerly known as Twitter. And it decided to go viral. It was this post. It is actually, if I may say so, a very becoming picture relative to the one that they're using on his Transfermarkt. So first of all, I feel like he should send a message to Transfermarkt, try and get that switched up. Here's Emirhan looking his best, wearing a Beşiktaş kit. It says a professional football player at Beşiktaş, living his best life, doing his best stuff. He's active, drinks socially, never smokes, which honestly, great. Beşiktaş doing a little background investigating. The player never smokes, okay, he's staying fit. He likes winter sports, horror movies, rock music, dogs. I mean, look, this guy's he's looking well-rounded, looking like he's promoting his Instagram, which we always respect that. But this went viral in Turkey, and this is why he got terminated. That's it. There's nothing else to the story. That was the entire thing that happened. Literally, this image went viral on Twitter in Turkey, that this Beşiktaş, kind of into the bench, high-level reserve player, right, for Beşiktaş, guy was playing in the 2nd division on loan last year. It goes viral. Everybody's like, oh, look, we found the Bumble account of this dude. And that was it. His contract was terminated. They kicked him off the club. This is the tweet. This is from February 19th, which is the day that I'm recording this. I'll translate it for you. We've parted ways with professional football player Emirhan Delibaş by mutual agreement. We wish Emirhan Delibaş success in his future career and present it to the public. Love translations. Regards, Beşiktaş. No other explanation. They just terminated the contract of a Turkish U19 player, a guy that had appeared for Beşiktaş in a competitive match this season, with no warning the day after this went viral. Now, I've got a couple of working theories as to what happened to our boy Emirhan here. The most obvious one is that the people that run Beşiktaş are actual sentient dinosaurs. Like an abacus is earth-shattering technology to them. They missed the epidemic of, eHarmony.com commercials like, and that old guy with the glasses that would be like, hey, are you 55 and alone? Do your parents remind you of that? Are your parents still alive? Time to get together. And then dating apps came in underneath that. Tinder snuck up on you and was like, what if you wanted to follow 25 women on Instagram? Well, guess what? We have the app for you, right? They all just piled in on top of each other, but it built on top pretty naturally, like it happened to society over time. Tinder's existed for a decade, dude. This is not new stuff. I don't know when Bumble existed exactly, but I'm assuming it was pretty soon after that. I've known about Bumble for a long time. I travel a lot for YouTube everywhere I go. Dating apps are a pretty modern part of life Not unusual, not culturally shunned. Might be a little different in Turkey, but I don't imagine it being too dramatically different in Turkey in terms of the way that it's perceived by the average person. We're sure, yeah, a few people are probably like, oh, dating app, not in front of my Bible, but the majority of people are just like, live and let live. I don't care. Do whatever the hell you want, right? But if you don't know what a dating app is at all, I can imagine it being a little scary. Like you're sitting there, in your retirement home, clutching your pearls like, back in my day, he sent me one letter and then we got married. Like this dude is 21 years of age, which is actually a funny point because in his Bumble, he's 24, which is to me the greatest proof that this is real. Because we're going to get to a point in this story where after he got his contract terminated, he insisted this image was fake. But I feel like if you were if somebody was trying to mess with him, they wouldn't have thought to change the age. But it's the most realistic thing of all time that this dude's age has been altered to go up because I'm pretty sure everybody has done that on a dating app in the past. And that is what our boy Amir Khan has done. So sorry, you've been caught red-handed with your cup of, I don't know what that is. That looks like tomato soup, like a P&G. And I'm assuming that's a nice watch. I'm not a watch guy, but that's a nice watch. And he's holding the cup in front of a toilet. So, I mean, the more you look at this picture, the more the aesthetic comes into question. But initially, solid picture. 8 out of 10. Would swipe right. Would recommend my friends who are girls to swipe right, depending on what this guy's looking for. You can play the field. The point is, this is insane that this happened. That he was removed from the club, and all indications are it was because this post went viral and they thought it was disrespectful. Now, the second most likely scenario, outside of the people running the club being absolute dinosaurs, is that he was removed because they took an issue with the inaccurate information on the post. Now, I prefer to believe that. If Besiktas came out and said that they were a big believer in honesty, right, and then they needed their players to be incredibly honest individuals, and that him lying about his age on Bumble was over the line, I would almost respect that. Would it be draconian? Yes. But tell me that doesn't kind of sound like something Sir Alex Ferguson would have done back in the day. Like, I don't have an issue with you having a Bumble. I have an issue with you having a Bumble that has inaccurate information. This says 183 centimeters. That's accurate. But the age isn't? Come on, Amir Khan. That's not what you learned in Besiktas school. Like, that would be a much more applicable stance than the just, we're old and scared of things. Like, also, if you are actually trying to police your players' lives to the point that you are offended if they have a dating app, you might want to check the phones of everybody else in that team. Because I would be willing to bet every single ounce of things that I own. Not that that is an advisable thing to do, although I do have a sick 27-leg parlay that's about to hit tomorrow that my entire mortgage is on. But that's totally not the point. I would bet everything that I own that there are more players at Besiktas with freaking Bumble or Tinder or, I don't know, Match.com accounts. If it's like Arda Turan, if he's still playing, he's like 40. He might be married with 6 kids. I don't freaking know if he is. Congratulations. But there's a bunch of dudes in the academy at Besiktas and in the reserve team or in the first team that are like, oh, you gotta delete this. Just going through their phone like, I'm clean. I can't believe you would do that. Right? Like, I gotta delete this. And that brings the question. If Besiktas caught one of its senior players, one of the more regular senior players with a dating app account, how far does this go? Are you willing to terminate the contract of your best player because they have a Bumble? Or are you just trying to make a point by deleting this poor guy who's like somewhere between your reserves and your first team? That's discriminatory. How dare you? Like, this club employs Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. That dude's from England. Tinder is an epidemic in England. Like, even more popular than it is in the U.S. Now, if Alex Oxlade, what the hell is his name? If Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has a Tinder, is he gone? Are we removing him from the group? I mean, he is engaged now, but look, it's modern relationships. If he has a Tinder, is he gone? This is the same team Vincent Abubakar's on. That dude hasn't had his contract terminated, and he hasn't played in 2.5 months. And there's rampant media speculation he got a hair transplant in Paris. He should be released from the club alone just for not getting a hair transplant in Turkey. That's like the national export of the entire country. Did he actually do that? Of course, he denies it. I made a short about that. I made a TikTok. I can't even keep track of the freaking platforms. I think it's on TikTok. It's on TikTok. I don't know why I'm pretending I don't know that. I literally posted it on TikTok. But that guy's still on the team. And this guy has a Bumble account, and that's it. I mean, what are we banning people for? If they don't go to your favorite grocery store? Like, oh, you don't have a rewards card for, Erdogan Unlimited. Like, you can't. Oof, oh, this is embarrassing. Like, oh, this guy's subscribed to 3 OnlyFans accounts, and his OnlyFans account says he's a Besiktas player. Get him out of here, right? Like, what? How far does this go? Does it just take some of that going viral? Like you liked a tweet from somebody? Like say you liked a tweet from Gary Neville and they were just like, sorry, we're on Phil's side. Get out of here. Like you're representing the club poorly. Now, he does deny this. I said that earlier. He denies this. I want to make it clear that my relationship with the club should not be questioned and reject the accusations made by fake social media accounts. I'm sure that's also translated, so it's hard to get like the super gist of that. But he's also somebody that just got fired for this, and of course, you'd attempt to deny it. But, brother, I don't think you did anything wrong. To be honest, I think that you just ran into one of the funniest reasons ever to get fired, and some other club should pick this guy up. Because what's his fatal flaw? He's on Bumble? If that's the case, then like 40% of the people I know have a fatal flaw. But if I'm a club, I'm signing this guy yesterday because all of a sudden, a player who has played for Besiktas this season is available for free. A second division Turkish club's going to pick this guy up, and they should get sponsored by Bumble because that's the reason that they were able to pick up a starting player for completely free. I would love more inside information on this, but unfortunately, that's all we have. Good luck to Amir Khan. I hope you land on your feet. And I hope you got some matches.